In this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to select a business name. I've started a number of businesses in the past, and I think a lot of potential new business owners get really bogged down in the process of selecting a business name. I've actually had people I've worked with pay $10,000 or $20,000 to have a consultant help you select a business name, and this is almost never worth it. It's actually much simpler than you would think. Um, I've done a few different businesses, and here's a few. Actually, I have most of them in AWS, but in my Google domains, I have a few business names that I've picked in the past, and I can talk to you a little bit about each one and why I selected it. The first, and actually doesn't appear on this list, is Coalition Technologies. Um, I wanted a business name that actually gave me a lot of options to work in different areas. It was my very first company I ever built, and so Coalition sounded pretty broad to me. And I was working at a company called Visible Technologies prior to that, and so it kind of made sense to have technologies in the name. So I chose Coalition Technologies. Uh, Now, my business name I don't think has really impacted the business in one way or another. We brought in most of our clients through word of mouth from the good work we do, as well as from our own SEO and marketing efforts. Coalitiontechnologies.com is a very long domain name. I would suggest to anybody out there getting into business not to select such a long domain name. It's kind of painful to have to type that over and over and over again. But it never really harmed me either. It was just annoying to say on the phone occasionally. Probably the next one down I would say is Tested Recruits right here. This is a major web application I programmed and built out for helping doing skills test based recruiting. I like the domain name. I never had time to put into the business to really grow it. But I don't think it was harmed by that. I think it very clearly indicates what the business was. Romy LMS is a learning management system I programmed out and built for my own company, Coalition. Our company runs entirely on it, as well as on Tested Recruits. Romy was the name of my niece, very cute little girl, and LMS stands for Learning Management System, which is a keyword I discovered. Another fine one. I originally had Proven Recruits, but I believe some other company had that name, so I had to stop on that one. And then Listicle Service. I've thought about starting a business that helps companies show up in those listicles you find online, and that would really help bring in some additional business for folks. So that's a few that I've selected so far. Another thing you want to look at is your ability to register trade names in your state, which you can find on, for me, Washington State. I just did a Google search for registered trade name in Washington State. Here's the state website. You can do a business lookup to see if anybody else has registered those names. So that's what we're going to do once we find some names we like. And here's the tool right there. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So I'm going to select get a domain, and I suggest strongly that you don't pick a business name that you can't have the domain for. That would be rather foolish and very difficult to make sure that people find you. You also want to make sure that it's a business name that you can rank #1 for, no matter what that business name might be, and that sort of thing. You'd see if you search on all my domain names that you'd be able to find it. If I ever tell somebody, go to Coalition Technologies, anybody searching on Coalition Technologies will find my business #1 and stuff related to us all down that first page. There's no other company with that name. Now, in our previous videos, we've gone through how to do a little bit of keyword research. And one of the things we're going to look at here is we're going to use some of that keyword research to get ideas for business names, as I mentioned before. Now, I've actually done a little bit of advertising already to try and generate leads on this, and I was very successful in that. And here's a prior ad I ran, and this didn't even have a business name. It was just about some of the services: land clearing, blackberry removal, excavation, driveways, dirt work. And that's what I'd advertised on. I had this little post up, as well as some of the equipment, the work I did. So I've already seen a little bit of this. Now, I'd like to have a business name that is clearly memorable, nobody else has, and will help generate business. So if I wanted to stick with coalition, for example, one thing that I could do is one idea I had was coalitionlandscaping.com. We can look at this. It actually is registered. Let's go see who has it. Coalitionlandscaping.com. Decade in horticulture, pruning. Looks like somebody probably in North Carolina, I'm guessing, and it doesn't look like they actually use it. So actually I like that name, but it's already in use. So we're going to make a note on that right here. Coalitionlandscaping.com already used. So we're going to try and find something else. Now, once again, let's look at some of these keywords we have. And the work we're going to be doing is things ranging from construction to landscaping to things along those lines. I've thought about taking a slightly broader keyword like coalition construction. Now, the downside to this one is it might be a little too common, but let's go look at this. Somebody actually has this domain name. Excuse me. Wow, that's a terrible website. Everything's piled up on top of each other. 4 years in business, insured in Dallas, Fort Worth. Okay. Well, that's too bad. That one's also taken. Already used. Okay. So another thing I like to do is combine area or regional terms with the terms I'm trying to optimize for. So one that could actually be interesting here is, I'm in Pierce County. So let's look at Pierce Landscaping. Aftermarket availability for $1,100. Well, I don't really feel like paying $1,100, so I wouldn't want that. But maybe we could do Pierce County. Now it gets too long, and I don't like having CO or something weird in the middle of it. Don't necessarily love that. I could do Tacoma Landscaping. My guess is that's going to be taken. That's the major city in our area. Available aftermarket for $5,000. I don't want to spend $5,000. It's almost always a scam. You don't want to spend any more than $10 for your domain name. Now you could do a .org, but it indicates a non-profit. They actually have some different interesting extensions here, but I think a lot of people get confused when you have different extensions. And also Tacoma is just kind of one small area of where we service. Let me come back to Pierce Landscaping, just see if I can think of something. Oh, they have a suggestion here, piercegardening.com. It's not bad, but we're not really gardeners, we're landscapers. Interesting. What else could I do? So we also have landscaping, landscapes. Ooh, Pierce Landscapes. Let's take a look at that. It is available for only $12 a year. So that's a good idea. So that's available. And I'm going to highlight this in green so that I can see it later. Or at least maybe like this light blue color so we can identify it. Okay, Pierce Landscapes. That gives me an idea. Now I could do a longer one. Pierce County mowing. I mean, that's a kind of straightforward one. I'm not a giant fan of it because it doesn't perfectly describe the business. The .com is available though. Pierce County mowing.com is available. And we will paste that format down here. Okay. Now I'll show you my geographic region we're going for. I'll show you what Pierce County looks like here in Google Maps. And we'll zoom in. So my partner is here in Tacoma, and I'm out here in towards Eatonville, down this way. So we're kind of targeting this general region between the two of us. He's kind of in this area, Tacoma. Now, there's some wealthy areas up and over here. That'd probably be a lot of the customers we'd want. Now, this area is not very well to do. I don't know if people would have this much money for our services, although I think that they would pay for things like brush hogging their fields and things like that we have. It's a little bit of a rural area. There's a little more money in South Hill, and a lot more up here in the waterfront, the Ruston Way waterfront, but those are a lot of condos and whatnot. Federal Way is a little bit more. I do like Pierce County, just because Pierce County, you can see it's outlined in red here. It's a fairly broad region. You can kind of cut off this whole Mount Rainier area. Nobody lives over here. It's all national forest. And this is kind of the area that we are willing to go to. I don't really know that we'd be headed out to Yelm or Roy all that often, or up here to Sumner, Bunny Lake, but this area is decent. I like Pierce County. I would like to use that keyword in my name. I think it will indicate to people pretty strongly where we are and what work we're doing. I might just do Pierce because I don't want to have Pierce County. I don't want to have two words. Or I don't want that to have two words plus another keyword. So I'd rather just do Pierce something. So Pierce Landscapers. It's available. Interesting. Okay. Pierce Landscapers.com is available. Let's see here. Pierce. Let's see what other options I got. Gardeners, escapes. Interesting. Let's come back here one more time just to see if there's other terms. Pierce Landscapers. I kind of like that. Now let's do a little search on that and just see what comes up. Pierce Landscapers. Well, the one problem with a keyword like that is our competitors will be showing up over and over because it is a general search term. It'll help us show up on this term, but for the first initial bit, we might have a hard time moving our way on up. Although I gotta tell you something kind of funny is I actually had started a business back when I was 17 doing lawn mowing, and I called it at that time, it was J&J Landscaping. Maybe I could do something similar here. J.J. Pierce Landscapers. I don't like when words don't run together properly, though. I'm sure that this is available. J.J. Pierce Landscapers. Now there's some other J.J. people out there, it looks like. This is somebody in Fort Pierce. I don't know where that is. Pierce ID Landscaping, Angie. We'd have a little better chance at showing up here. J&J Landscaping. And that's actually in our area too. That's a little funny. It looks like they're not doing a very good job, whoever it is. Let's see what their reviews say. 1 starts our electrician. Very confusing. Electrician, but it says landscaping. That's interesting. Let's see, what are some other ideas that I could do? See, the problem is if I ever wanted to expand out of Pierce County, I couldn't really do it with just this little business name, but that's okay. I mean, if I'm building a Fortune 500, I'll take a slightly different approach. This business, if I am successful in my county, that's going to be a success for me. So I don't need to get too crazy here. Pierce Landscapers. Interesting. And with Pierce Landscapers, I could actually use some of the branding the county uses, or similar style, and maybe build a little extra trust riding on a more popular brand name. Pierce Landscapers. I think I like it. Let's revisit this one more time. JJ Pierce Landscapers. Don't like that one as much. It is available. We'll come up with a couple more ideas here before we turn in. There's one thing that I gotta say, and that is I have a really hard time finding anybody who's reliable. And it looks like the .com is taken for reliablelandscapers.com, but I had a friend who has a business, Reliable Roofing. I like that name, or Dependable Roofing. Yeah, but somebody's already got this name, so Reliable I can't do. I like Coalition because that's my other business name. I could use my other niece's name. That'd be kind of funny. I don't know, my brother would think about that. ClaraLandscapers.com. ClaraLandscapers.com. Let's go look at it. It's available. Let's go see what people are searching on. S&E, Rainier Landscape Supply. Santa Clara. Santa Clara. See, Santa Clara might cause some confusion. So while it's available, might not be the best idea to pick that one. Now the other her middle name is actually Lou. I'm not sure if that's how it's spelled, but Lou can be might be hard to spell for people. That pops up a bunch of these local folks. Amazing Landscape Services. Olympic Landscape. I think I'm going to go with Pierce Landscapers. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. All right, so I have a business name selected. That's going to be the name, and that's the domain name. So let me see and proceed from here. I might sleep on it tonight just to double check, but I like that, piercelandscapes.com. And as I said, you don't have to go crazy. Don't spend a bunch of money on a consultant. Don't spend a whole ton of money on a domain name you feel you have to have. You can find something decent, and then also remember, if you don't like it, you can always get a DBA later on. Now let's come back over here and make sure that it's actually available. Pierce, let's just say contains. Let's see what businesses come back. I bet a ton do. Yeah, it's showing up everybody in Pierce County, it looks like. Landscaping Pierce Inc. So A+ Lawn and Landscape Pierce. All recovery services of Pierce County. Lots of Pierce counties. We're going to need to narrow this down. There's like 500, so I'm going to put in landscape. We'll do another search here. So contains Pierce Landscapers. Nobody has that name. So we can register it, and I'm going to register it as a DBA under my other business name. I have a different business that I've already registered, and don't want to go through all that pain in the butt again. I'll just do a DBA and register it. So I think we're okay then. All right, so we've picked out a business name, and we're ready to move on to the next step of getting a business started and set up. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy the video, please click on the like. If you have any questions or comments, you want to get my feedback on a domain name or business name you come up with, just leave it in the comments. I'm happy to give you some advice. If you like this channel and you'd like me to continue making more of these videos, please subscribe. That really encourages me to keep going and putting free content